Who will be our first Centurion?
That's picked up by Anderson, and it's gone again.
Can Unmukt get off the mark at Morgan Hill?
Long run back for the fielder at the back.
A super game at Musa has a super over.
That's going towards deeper wicket.
All this and more this week on Emerging Cricket's Minor League Cricket Show.
Week 3 was full of big moments, some planned and some a surprise. In the West, we saw minor league cricket's first Cricket for Community Day at Morgan Hill, and former India U19 World Cup captain Unmukt Chand debuted for the Silicon Valley Strikers. Out for a duck in his first game against San Diego, Chand showed flashes in his second before getting out for 11 against the Blazers. However, the Strikers won both games, taking them to 4-1, just behind Golden State Grizzlies and ahead of the East Bay Blazers. SoCal Lashings experienced a COVID situation and were unable to travel to the Bay Area, missing 3 games that the league hopes to reschedule. Seattle continues to climb out of an early 3-loss hole, winning 2 against Hollywood to improve to 3-4, leaving the Master Blasters winless at 0-5. San Diego lost all 3 Bay Area games to fall to 2-5. The Central was full of milestones in Week 3. Michigan Cricket Stars continued to leave their mark in the league, achieving both the league's first century and the first hat trick in the same game. A massive win over the first-place Houston Hurricanes. Corey Anderson came to the party moments later, scoring a century of his own for the Irving Mustangs. At Musa, the St. Louis Americans and Austin Athletics gave us the league's first super over, with Laksh Parekh and Janasar Khan maintaining their stellar form to lead Austin to victory. Houston still leads the division, followed by Austin, Michigan, Irving, St. Louis, Chicago Blasters, and finally the winless Chicago Catchers. The South saw only 2 games, both at Church Street Park, where the crowds gathered again to witness the Morrisville Cardinals host the Florida Beamers. The Beamers opened the batting in both games, but failed to put up a defendable total either time, as Cardinals bowlers took 13 wickets and were barely challenged, chasing totals of 106 and 87.
It was great. Good to get 4 more points on the board. Obviously, a win is always great to have. And the wicket had a bit of juice in it, and I just tried to execute my plans, just hit my lengths, and everything went to plan. So it was good.
The Cardinals moved into first place as games in Florida were suspended due to concerns over tropical storms. The league hopes to make those up as well. The East saw 7 games this weekend as the first-place New Jersey Stallions split their doubleheader with the DC Hawks and remain atop the table in points, in spite of Manhattan beating Somerset to remain undefeated. Manhattan have played 4 games to the Stallions' 6 and trailed the Stallions by only 4 points with 16, ahead of the DC Hawks in net run rate. The Hawks are 4-3 after splitting against the Stallions and New England Eagles. The Cavaliers find themselves in 4th place after another split weekend, ahead of the Philadelphians in net run rate, both teams with 12 points. Empire State sits in 6th place with only 1 loss, and the New England Eagles sit alone in the cellar with 8 points. I'm once again for the Emerging Cricket Emerging Player of the Week, and here again to join me is Aaman Patel. Aaman, once again, we saw some performers from the U21 and U19 players, and once again, Laksh Parekh's name is near the top of the list. 2 wickets in regulation across his 6 overs in 2 games, but he bowled in minor league cricket's first ever super over. How about that?
Oh man, was that super impressive for the team to go and pick, one of their younger guys and select him for the super over, and then for him to go and take 2 wickets in that super over and be a big reason for why they won. It's really cool to see one of the young players really step up like that.
Yeah, it's great. It just goes to show that if you perform early enough in the season, you dig a little niche for yourself into the team, and the team knows they can trust you. He put them in a position to win that game, and of course, Johnny Khan came through and finished it off for them, and he's on quite a roll of man of the match performances himself. But yeah, it just goes to show what a player like him can do just with the chances.
I think all these guys have tremendous talent, and once they just go and take advantage of it, it's going to be hard for teams not to go out there and play them.
Who are some of the players that stood out for you this week?
I think, I'm going to start off in the East with the ball. I look at Yasser Mohammed, who had 5 overs, 45 runs, and 4 wickets. One player in the match in one of his matches where he took all 4 of his wickets. He looked very impressive there. And then also Vatsal Vigala, a guy who's, consistently been a part of the conversations on the Central Division, 3 overs, 16 runs, and 3 wickets as well. So he's bowling well. I think all those guys bowling well in this entire tournament.
I feel like Vatsal is missing this every week by the skin of his teeth.
Oh my God, yeah.
Perhaps he'll be boosted with all the games in hand that the Grizzlies have still to come. We also saw Ajay Amati get in the wickets for Hollywood. Rahman Dar scored 41 against the Chicago Blasters. USA under-19s Abaram Bolasetti and Rohan Pasanapalli performed as well. We're seeing this all over the league, and it's making our decision very tough.
Oh my God, it was such a tough decision to go out here and just rack through all of the stats and look at it and really break it down.
So one player that really stood out, especially to me, was Karthik Gatapelli from Houston, who took 5 wickets in 8 overs this weekend for 35 runs. He also leads the Pacific in wickets at this point. So he's been really impressive. He's Houston's U21 player. Yeah. So who is our emerging player of the week this week?
Yeah, again, it was tough to decide this one. I think it's going to continue to be tough, but the emerging player of the week, I think, has to go to Ali Sheikh down in Irving. He had 6 overs, 28 runs, and 5 wickets. He took 4 wickets in one match for himself, and he bowled tremendous. He's been consistent for them, and I think this week you got to give it to him. Yeah,
I think so too. He really makes a difference in the games, and they won both of their games too, which is another factor that comes into play. One thing we're seeing that's kind of a trend is the left arm orthodox bowlers doing pretty well. He's right at the top of the list. So who's your player to watch out for the week?
Well, you brought up left arm orthodox spinners. Well, here's mine. Aaman Patel from the Atlanta Butterbeers. They got 3 games this weekend against Florida teams, and I saw his performance against the Morrisville Cardinals. He's always impressed me. He's going to bowl his quota, and he's a wicket-taking option. And I have to imagine he's going to get a couple wickets in each of his games. So give me Aaman Patel for this week.
I used a similar logic, choosing Atindra Subramanian from the Atlanta Fire. He's the player to watch out for me. He also has 3 games. Cornet Dry gives him his overs. It's tough to imagine him coming out of that weekend without some wickets. Tough to imagine that team not putting him in a position to take wickets. Aaman, thanks again for taking the time to join me. This is a segment I always look forward to.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me on.
Joining me now is Ryan Scott of the Michigan Cricket Stars and the first centurion of minor league cricket. Welcome, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
Lenico Boucher and yourself teamed up for a massive 171-run first wicket partnership on Saturday against the then undefeated Houston Hurricanes. That led Michigan to a 221-run first innings, and you won by 54 runs. All of this happened away in Houston. And along the way, you scored the first century of the tournament with Austin's Corey Anderson joining you shortly after. How does it feel to be the first centurion?
It's pretty overwhelming, and I was kind of emotional after I got out because I couldn't really believe it. I've been working for it, but I didn't expect it to happen so soon.
Right.
But I'm thankful that it happened.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to get that boost from the top. 171-run first wicket partnership. That alone is astronomical in this particular format. So a lot of people didn't see Michigan as a threat after the exhibition season last year, but your roster improved and you're now 3-2. What do you see as Michigan's strengths?
So, as I told a lot of people, we're a pretty good all-round team. So on any given day, we can perform in the field, take our catches or bowl well, and on another day we could bat the other team out the game. So it all depends on the day of the game.
Ryan, you live in Maryland, but you're a priority domestic player for the Michigan Cricket Stars. Was Michigan your first choice, or was this a matter of playing where you saw opportunity?
So it's an opportunity that I got. The first one, and I took it.
And that's really reaping some benefits for the Michigan Cricket Stars, that's for sure. With you batting at the top of the order and performing like you are, currently leading the team in runs. What do you think about this league? What does it mean to you and your teammates?
For me, it means a lot because a lot of young guys that, like myself, get to showcase their talent, and most of us are trying to play for the USA national team. So it gives us an opportunity to let the selectors see us as well, because not everybody watch the local leagues because you have 2-3 divisions, and they only focus on the Premier League, and not everybody play in that league. So for most of us to be playing in the minor league, it's kind of a good thing for us.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's great to hear so many people say that their goal is to make it to the U.S. national team. You know, that's what we want, and we want eyes on this tournament as a testing ground for that. That's for sure. Well, thank you for joining us today, Ryan, and all the best to the Michigan Cricket Stars.
Thank you.
Finally, it's time for things I really liked about Week 3. Draven Griffith's all-around 360 effort for the Empire State Titans.
Opening up over extra. Quite over. Narayan trying to go over the top. And an excellent catch there by Marvin Darlington, looks like.
Yep.
The sweep shot there. What a tremendous catch.
MiLC junior players from Houston telling me who their favorite cricketers are.
I play for Houston, and my favorite player is Just Curran Malhotra.
And I play for Houston Hawks. And my favorite cricketer is Aviran Boliseti.
I play for Houston Strikers, and my favorite player is Rohan.
I play for Houston Hawks, and my favorite player is Coach Willem from Houston Hurricanes.
Sean, I play for Houston, and my favorite players are Aviran Boliseti and Just Curran.
I'm from Houston Hawks, and my favorite player is Coach Willem.
I'm from Houston Hawks, and my favorite cricket player is Abiram.
Ajay Jam of the Americans filling me in on what's going on in St. Louis.
So we have a fantastic setup there. We have 5 coaches. The head coach of the academy is also the head coach of the St. Louis Americans, and 4 other coaches who are playing St. Louis Americans team. So that was the purpose of minor league. And kids, they are really excited to see their coaches playing. They're rooting for them, and you know that's a huge inspiration for them to go and see and be the fan and look for them to go and play in that team.
And last but not least, Jimmy Anclasaria, the voice of San Diego Surf Riders, pitching in to help with our intro.
Looking to distract the bowler. And there he goes, high in the air and into the fence, and that's 6. That was a cracker, short.
I'll leave you with this week's top 10.
Next delivery, which is on its way. Short delivery, bounces in right around the waist. Here comes the throw. Oh, and they caught him. Can they add a 12th? That one's hit high in the air. Daskin's got a long run in. As does David White. Can he make the catch? Yes, he can. Hit in the air, and how about that?
Lada, who's bowled well. Struck well by Emmanuel Cicharan. 5th ball of the super over coming up. That's hit away by Janisar. That's going towards deeper wicket. What a shot to Corey Anderson. That's flighted, and that's picked up beautifully by Anderson again. It's going over the long on boundary, and that's a 6.
Again, a shot down to long on. It's in the air. What an excellent catch.
Once again, waits for it. Asad got him.
The sweep shot there. What a tremendous